All right, good day, everybody. Welcome to our podcast session, right? We are here today with our panels to actually discuss about how to transition into A levels. Now, we have in the panel today, right? Five students have actually gone through the Cambridge A levels program, all right? They have basically done the A levels, and what happened is that they've actually gone through a transition of the program, right, in the local college in Malaysia, right? So my name is Lucas Chan. I am actually teaching a Cambridge A levels chemistry in a local education institution in Malaysia. So without going further, I think we should introduce ourselves first. Kai Wing, do you mind?
Hi, so my name is Kai Wing, and I'm from the August 2019 A-levels intake. I used to do the IGCSE O-levels, and I'm currently going to take my A2 exams this May. Yeah.
Hi, so this is Rachel. I'm from the August 2019 intake as well. I'm previously from SPM, and I'm also waiting to take my A2 this May.
Yo everyone, I'm Shim Jun. I took A levels in January 2019, and I did my A levels already. So now I'm doing university in Nottingham. So yeah, first year right now.
Hi guys, I'm NG. I'm Angelique, but you can call me NG. I'm a August 2019 Cambridge A-level intake student, and I used to take SPM back then. And I'm also currently preparing for my A2 exam coming out in May, June this year. So yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacqueline. I'm from January 2018 intake, and I did SPM previously. Yeah, so I'm doing my degree now in Taylor's.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Right. I think out of the five of you, four of you were actually my students. Oh, actually are my students. Some of you are actually still yet to actually gone for the exam. Jim, Jacqueline, yeah,
Yes.
a good 1.5 year with you
Very
guys.
good, very good.
And Rachel, Kai Wing, right? Good luck for examination coming very, very
Oh,
soon.
yes,
NG
thank
as
you.
well.
NG also.
NG as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we are here today, of course, to speak about the difficult period that every new students will actually encounter whenever they first join the program. Now we all know a lot of our students, after completing the SPM or O levels, they actually tend to choose A levels as the course of choice for them to actually do up their PU course in order for them to actually pursue their studies in the tertiary level after that. So like what we have Shim and Jacqueline over here, both of them have actually moved on to actually do a degree program, right, in their very own right now, right? So we are going to be speaking about this particular transition phase of how students transition into A levels in this particular podcast session. So I'm sure along the way, you guys have a lot of experience to actually share with the juniors over here on how to actually tackle the issues that most commonly faced by new students that actually just joined the A levels program. So yeah, Jacqueline, you have quite a bit of experience over there, right? Joining us in 2018 over there, right, Jacqueline?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacqueline. Yeah.
So I would like to share my interesting experience.
I remember Jacqueline as my first batch of students who actually what do you call this, studied at the lakeside, right? So we actually moved campuses, and then yeah, Jacqueline was my first batch of students in the lakeside campus back then, right? So Jacqueline, yeah. Oh, we didn't hear you, Jacqueline. Okay, I think you can start to hear now. Can hear you now. Shim was from the 2019 intake, right, Shim?
Yeah.
You actually took further maths back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for the maths is tough, dude. Like if you have no business doing for the maths, I just don't take for the maths. Just don't take. Okay, just don't take. I'm serious. Like if you take it right, because like most university don't require you to take for the maths, except for like at Singapore universities only, or like Oxford or Cambridge. Other than that, no one cares about your fundamentals, dude.
But don't you
So-
think that those who actually needs to do engineering, right? Those who need to do engineering, don't they actually have to take further maths to better prepare themselves for the course?
So far in my experience, right, like I took further maths, and then like in the maths in university, right, is how do I say this? The maths in university is still easier than further maths, so far.
Whoa,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's why, right, like
I mean,
if you want to go to Singapore, then you take further maths. If not, don't.
Mm.
It's waste. It's better to get 3 A stars than like 1 A stars, 2 A's, Yeah.
I mean, the subject is difficult because I know it because every single time I enter the classroom after a further maths class, I'll be seeing all my students seated at the place. They will be, I don't know, they will have this expression whereby they're actually stunned because they never thought maths can actually be taught that way, or at least at a different level than what they thought it was, isn't it? So the expectation of taking further maths as a subject is something that is really beyond the expectation of a lot of our students actually. Yeah.
It was definitely a culture shock for everyone.
yeah.
Like
Definitely,
imagine,
definitely.
right, like your maths syllabus, because right, for further maths, to progress to further maths, you have to study maths first, and then for mathematics, right, you have to finish the whole syllabus within like 1 semester.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy. Imagine the amount of workload the students actually had to cope with,
Yes.
Yeah.
because
A lot.
doing maths in 1 semester, the amount of homework must be crazy.
Then how do you
I always,
prepare it? How do you
Hmm?
prepare for like your further maths?
First of all, right, most important thing is preparation. Then preparation, which is like, you don't know anything, just ask your teacher. Just ask me.
Mm.
Cause right, I mean sometimes you don't understand what he's talking like, to be honest. Cause for the math teacher, right, I mean for my case, their brain is too big for me. I can't understand what they're talking. so if you ask the lecturer and they still understand, right, then is you go to YouTube or you do topical questions. Topical questions are very, very important. This not applies to like further maths only, but other subjects also. So yeah. And then so how I prepare for further maths is just practice. I think it's the same as maths also. Doing a lot of practice helps you with memorizing the patterns and how you do the solutions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But just remember concepts. Understanding concepts is the first thing that you have to do first. Without understanding concept, right? Without knowing anything, you can't do anything.
all right. Hi, Jackie.
Hi,
You're back?
Jackie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
we can.
Hear you. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. Should I continue my
worries.
experience?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I'm from this Chinese high school, which is called Kunchen. Okay, so we attend school from Monday to Saturday, and it's very disciplined. And the teacher kind of like force us to do work, test every week for every subject and all those. So you don't lose track from what you are learning. So when I changed to college, right, I smell freedom, like one day only 3 to 4 hours. So I'm like, wow, so relaxing. And then I don't care anything. I don't care much about it. And then there's one time where Mr. Lucas got so mad at me. I always go in class without doing my work. So he was like, one day I went in, so I don't feel anything. I just take out my worksheet. He came to my place, flipped my paper. Jacqueline, this is the first and last warning I'm telling you. Please do your work before you attend my class. So yeah, everyone in my class got kind of shocked. So after that, during my first sem exam, because of my attitude, like this kind of don't care about it, like just leave everything. So I get an E in my chemistry. So after that, Mr. Lucas did talk to me like you need to make a change and all those. So yeah.
Because I feel that every student who actually comes into the course, they have their own potentials, and I see that there is potential in every single one of the students who join the program. So the thing about it is that I do not want students to actually just waste their potential in A levels, you see, because a lot of them can actually get sidetracked quite easily. right? Because there are a lot of reasons behind it. Sometimes there's actually lack of focus. Sometimes there's actually lack of discipline. So that actually happens a lot to our students, because like what Jacqueline mentioned just now, you can easily get sidetracked, because once you're coming into a strict system, like as before, from a Chinese school and so on, and now all of a sudden you're like, wow, you're free. You're basically, your teacher's not going to check your work as much, because the teachers will actually need you to be more independent now in the college setting. Am I right? Because at the end of the day, we're preparing students for university, correct? So we need students to be more independent starting now itself. Otherwise, if you actually go to university, thinking that, oh, I'm still going to be spoon-fed by my lecturers, imagine what would happen back then. Imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot more initiative from the student itself, because teachers won't come to you personally that much anymore, like how it was in like high school.
Yeah, and also I would like to share, I saw some comments like saying that the lecturer talk way too fast in the lecture hall, like when they are teaching. I think a way to cope with it, because I experienced the same thing too, is that you need to prepare before class. You need to study the notes, what the teacher is going to teach in the lesson. So when the teacher is teaching, right, you get to understand more about it. Like you get a roughly what the topic is about. So when the teacher teach, you don't fall asleep. If you don't, you will fall asleep. You definitely will.
Yeah, I think it's even more like important you read before class now, because like online class is a lot harder to concentrate, because there's like nobody around you, and then your house has so many distractions. So yeah.
Especially those who actually does the class in the bedroom, right? The bed is just next to side. So that's the big problem, for kids actually doing, online class at home, especially in the bedroom. So that's something to actually look out for, right?
Yeah, so need to prepare before class.
One to do is that, like, if you think your lecturer talks way too slow, you can just skip the class. After the class is done, there's a recorded video. You just watch it times 2 speed. So there's efficiency over there. You get to do the work done within half of the time. So that's another thing you can do as well, based on experience.
The thing is that I noticed that I have been putting up my recordings, but unfortunately for now, not many views are there, I noticed that most of the time after the lecture, I actually upload. I mean, in Teams, everything's uploaded automatically. So what happened is that I will usually go back and see how I speak in that particular lecture or tutorial session. And I noticed that how come there's only 2 views and 3 views? What happened to the rest?
They actually show the views.
Yeah, they actually show the view, but maybe I just watch it a bit too early. Maybe these students are actually watch it only at night. So that's my presumption, right? So but usually after the lesson, I will go back and 1 hour later or 2 hours later to just make sure I watch and make sure I actually speak everything correctly over there. But I noticed that there are very few views over there. Yeah, maybe, right? What happened is that they actually watch later. But if you've not been watching, I think it'd be good if you actually missed out any lesson. The good thing is that online class, everything's recorded. You can basically just they click a button and just see back, watch back, review back whatever that you have actually missed out during a particular lecture session, right? So yeah, that's what I think is useful. And what someone mentioned just exactly mentioned, reading ahead is good, right? Even though sometimes when you read ahead, you don't understand 100% of what you're actually reading from the textbook, it's all right, because your lecturer is going to be there to actually clarify and further explain the concepts and the theories behind that, isn't it, Karana? So that's why you need to attend your lectures, right? In order to get clarification on whatever that you have actually read in advance, right? Yeah, so, Jacqueline?
Yeah, a lot of things when you come into college, it's really about your own initiative. So if you want, it's very possible to have like a turning point. Like Jacqueline had a really great turning point. She went from an E to like an A, right, for chemistry. So yeah, it's really very possible to feel like, oh my god, it's the end of the world in like sem 1, but by sem 3 you're like, okay, I know what I have to do.
But
to,
I would say
discipline
is very important in A levels.
Yeah.
Because I saw that people saying that the content is difficult and all those. Yeah, so you don't do last minute work. You need time to understand it, and also past papers is important. Like you do after each each topic, I would say.
Yeah, Jacqueline has a very good point over there, right? And that has allowed her to actually moved on, right? From getting an E in semester one exam, at the end you got an A. Wow, that's a remarkable turnaround, you know. So at the end of the day, it's all about self-realization, right, Jacqueline? Right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So you need to make sure that you realize, you know, what are the current issues that you have right now, right? Be upfront with the issues that you have right now. You can speak to your friends, right? And you can even come forward to speak to your lecturers, you know, if you have any issues at all, right? If you are not able to cope, it's the best that you speak to somebody. A lot of times, a lot of students are actually keeping things to themselves, and that's actually very dangerous, right? Um, if you're struggling academically, right, in the program, if you are not willing to open up and seek help, uh, if you are actually doing this, it's actually very dangerous, right? Because what happens is that you are actually going to be stressed up. You're going to have a lot of anxiety, right? And the next thing you know is that exam is like probably next 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away. Then you're going to panic. And then what happened then? You're gonna cry. So let's hope that it's not gonna be happening to our students. What happened is that you need to actually come out, right, and actually let us know that you are actually having certain issues, right, so that at least we can actually help you through these difficult moments in time, right? So therefore we can actually move ahead and try to remedy whatever issues that you're actually having within yourself, right? So it's good to actually come out and just seek help. That's very, very important at this particular stage in time. A lot of students are feeling shy. Some of them are feeling not comfortable. You know, maybe because of they're afraid of the perception that they will actually get if they come out to seek help at this early stage in the program. What do you guys think about it?
I
I
mean,
think
okay,
I think
okay. Then my
sorry.
comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Backward.
I think it's just important that when you come into A levels, you understand that understanding the syllabus and learning about all these new concepts, it takes a lot of time. So that's why you need to plan ahead, and that's why you need to have discipline and, you know, do consistent work, because your brain needs time to adjust to all of these new things that you're going to learn. Yeah, so I think like Angie with econs, right? Yeah. Why don't you share about that?
Yeah, Angie also came in not actually having any background on econs, right, Corona? Because the subject combination you took was a little bit different compared to the one you had in SPM, correct? So Angie, do you mind sharing?
Story time. Basically, in SPM, I took science stream. So when I came to A levels, I took maths, physics, and econ. So maths, physics is okay because it's like science towards the science stream, which I can cope. But econs is culture shock for me. It's something different because when it comes to econs, right, the way of like learning things is super different from science stream. Because in science stream, when you have the question, the answer is fixed. The answer have to be like A, B. What is this? Is this answer A? But for econs, the answer, it doesn't have a fixed answer. Econs is like they give you a question, but then the answer can be anyway. It can't be like a fixed A or B. It can be like a A lead to the B, B to lead to the C, C lead to the D. So it's like a very complicating thing for me when I first started econs. I really, on the first day of class, when teacher explained like the question and everything, I just look at the teacher like, what is this? This is not something I'm used to in science stream, because I'm so not used to not having the answer fixed like science stream. Like for example, chemistry and physics, the answer have to be like this. But econs, the answer can diverse to a lot of things. And sometimes the essay you write doesn't exactly it's not really fixed, and it can be written a lot of way. Different people can write it a lot of way, and it's up to the teacher to decide whether they like the essay or not, whether the essay suits this teacher or that teacher, because different teacher can kind of evaluate it differently. So it's really different, and it's like something that I really struggle at first. But my advice is that you just keep you just keep learning from your teachers, and probably 3 or 4 months or 2 months if you're fast, you'll probably get the hang of how econs work. It'll be a very culture shock at first, but after that you slowly keep up to it, and you just keep asking questions, keep asking your teacher, ask your friends beside you that are like smarter than you or something, or have econs background, tell them to teach you. You have to be super thick faced, like you don't have to care about what people think of you. Like you feel embarrassed if like you ask too much question, people might think that you're not academically talented or something. Just be thick face, just go for it, like keep asking. Then by the time slowly you'll get used to it and things will be good for you. So that's an advice you guys have to take into your heart if you are taking humanities from a science stream background. Yeah.
So it seems like there's a adaptability period, when you first join, the program, right? So it takes about roughly how long? 3-4 months, right? To get
2 months lah.
Mm,
Really weird. It's a super weird feeling. I can't really say it properly, like elaborate properly, but you have to feel it for yourself if you are the student going into humanities from science stream. So just be prepared for it. Be willing to learn. Be willing to ask a lot of questions. Take face.
Very important, yeah. Willing to ask questions.
And talking about thick face, right? I don't know if you guys realize that usually, right, the best student in class, right, are always the one that's asking questions. Right.
All the time. All the time.
High achievers.
They have to know high achievers.
They won't necessarily be asking during class. They will like stay back after and like approach the teacher personally.
Yeah,
so that's also a tip for
one of our
students who are shy. You can always approach a teacher personally. It doesn't mean like you have to, if you don't understand something, just mark it, put a circle, put a star, and then later on ask your lecturers.
Very important to actually note down what you do not know. Otherwise, you don't come to a lecture and just I don't know everything that I don't know.
You can even like WhatsApp them. Like usually, like for me, my teachers are very open to solve any questions that I have, even like on WhatsApp. So yeah, they're all very nice people. Just just ask them. They won't belittle you for not knowing how to do like a simple question. Yeah, just ask. If you don't understand the basics, especially the basics, just ask, because if not, you're not going to get anywhere in this course, because it's really, really important to understand how to apply like the basic concepts.
And also if you feel like you're bothering, if you feel like you're bothering a lecturer, just think that it's their job and you already paid for
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you paid fees for coming to college and learning.
And the lecturers are being paid to teach, am I right? So
it's their job.
Yeah.
We are here because we have passion for teaching. So whenever you have issues, just come forward, right? We will appreciate that you are being honest, that you're having any issues at all, and we're always willing to help, right? That's what we have to say on the lecturer's point of view. But that's pretty important over there. And it just needs to be like Angie say, just be a thick face and just keep on asking questions. There'll be a point in time that you feel that you have already adjusted well, when you feel more confident in the classroom. I think that you will start to see that if you have already adjusted, you will start to feel that you are going to be able to participate in discussion more frequently. You're going to be able to contribute ideas during discussion. You're going to be able to answer questions more confidently as well in the classroom. So that's, I think, the point in time where you notice that you're going to be, I actually knew that I'm going to be more comfortable right now in the course, once you have actually managed to achieve that. All right, so very important to actually seek help. Very, very important, right? So coming into the program, there are some students who are actually very motivated, right? A lot of students knew what they want to do before they actually came into the program, and there are also some that doesn't know what they want to do, because being in A levels program, basically there are times that student doesn't know what they want to do, because they always say that if you don't know what you want to do, just come and do A levels, right? And at the same time, there's a group of students who actually came in, they knew what they want to do, right? So there are two different types of students over here that actually joined our program, right, Rachel?
Yeah, I think for me, like I was probably in the group where I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because prior to this, I was interested in doing music. I'm a violinist, so like it's been in the back of my mind the entire time that I've been learning music, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet, because in high school I did science. So I was very conflicted, and like I didn't really have the confidence in myself to go for music, because it's kind of dubbed as like an unstable profession here in Malaysia. There's not a lot of opportunities for classical musicians, especially, but you know, because I still love it a lot, so I was just very conflicted. And then I thought, okay, why don't I just, you know, go into A levels just to widen my options, you know, keep it open, see what I want to do. And then yeah, I came into A levels like with no expectations. I was also kind of lost, but I think it sort of like my main motivation, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, was just fear that I was like going to fail in my exams. So that was one of my motivation. Like I you know, I just want to try my best and like work hard and, you know, make sure that I don't regret coming out of this program, you know. So yeah, if you don't have any sort of, if you don't know what would motivate you, I guess fear is a pretty good motivator.
Yeah, but also if you have motivation, you must make sure that you do something, like you act on it. You just don't let it be a blind motivation. Like you want to do something, you have to act on it. So if you have motivation, you found your motivation, that's good for you. Then you have to come up with a plan. How do you want to like achieve it? You know, for example, for Kai, she's scared of the exam. She has to do well. She'll know what she has to do. She'll plan, she has to study this, that, what she has to do. So I think at the same time you have to be disciplined, which will then encourage you to not lose your motivation.
Yeah.
It will basically allow you to push further, isn't it, correct? Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's these two different
Yeah.
categories. You have those that have motivation and those that you know, doesn't have a clear path yet of what they want to do, you know, after A levels. So for the student who doesn't know what they want to do yet after A levels, right? They really need to make sure that they have the results that they wanted to get, right? Because if they need to get a certain good results in order to move on to whatever course or university that they actually want to apply to. Is that correct? So this type of students who doesn't know what to do, they have to be disciplined, right? From day one itself, so that they can achieve the grades that they wanted, right? And very important also for those who have very good motivation, right? Sometimes they just have a good motivation. They want to get good grades, but they don't have a plan. They just come in. I want to do this particular course in one of the top universities in the world. But then that's about it. The full stop was just there. No action.
Yeah, also just
a lot of students.
I just thinking about it more, like maybe like motivation, sometimes it doesn't come to someone, like it doesn't come at all. So that's why discipline is such a important factor, because like you can, like for me personally, I can have motivation, sure, but like I can procrastinate, you know, I can lose my drive. So that's where like Jacqueline and Rachel said, discipline is really, really important, because I mean, half the time, 70% of the time, I don't want to study. I just want to like watch Netflix lah, like chill lah. But obviously it's not going to work that way. Yeah, you have to do it.
So you can't just rely on motivation to get you going. You have to have a certain extent of discipline in yourself.
I would say especially in A levels, because you don't have coursework to help you, group work to help you. So in A levels, people tend to procrastinate until, because they think that they have so much time, because exam is like twice. only twice, only the finals. Like I have this mentality too. So discipline is very important in A levels.
Regardless, right? In the end, is that you must have no regrets. Really, no regrets. No regrets. Because right, like for example, let's say I procrastinate a lot. I procrastinate. Like for example, me, I actually regretted not studying, like during MCO happened. Because right,
Shim was one of the students who actually got affected by the cancellation of the examination back in last year, right? In 2020, the May-June exam.
Tough time for all the students then.
And then during the time was like my exam, and then after MCO happened, right, what they all say. You have to be disciplined. Without motivation, you must still have discipline. But then for me, right, I lost my motivation when it still happened. When it still happened, right, I never studied at all until the exam itself. I just keep playing games. Because like the drive is not there anymore. My environment at home is not conducive at all. Then I mean my friends also, they play games also, invite me. but
Regret.
but
Yeah,
yeah, no, definitely regret. Because of like I didn't study hard for my further maths. I got a very bad grade. Then I didn't get into like Singapore. So yeah, it hurts a lot, but this is the biggest regret I had because I didn't really put in all the effort. So in the end, I must keep just keep putting in effort. So even though you get bad grades or good grades, like there's effort there, so you don't regret because you already know that you did your best already. For me, I know I didn't do my best. I didn't do my best.
Yeah.
I still because I didn't do my best, right? The regret still lingers in me, So don't be like me, guys.
Yeah, to me that's like the guilt and like that regret. It's something that will live with you your entire life on. It's like yeah, that's why like one of my life mottos is like just don't have any regrets, so just try your best, make sure you it's like thundering here, I hope you can't hear it, but yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, but like because as I said, I was a musician, right? I mean, I am a musician, what am I saying? Yeah, so obviously I've had tons of bad performances because I didn't practice enough lah. So whenever you go on stage, it's a different experience every time. Like you really have to be super prepared so that you can handle your own nerves, and it's like you have to be in that zone where you're prepared enough to control yourself but still be spontaneous enough to make interesting music. So obviously if you're not prepared enough, you're going to screw up. Like I've been on stage starting with shaky bows. I've had like 10,000 memory slips, and honestly it's just super embarrassing. So I think learning from all of that, I just do your best in everything that you do so that you don't feel any kind of regret that I could have gotten into this university if I worked harder. But the time passed already. You can't take it back. So just make sure you have a good head on your shoulders. You have to plan ahead. You really have to put in the hard work. Yeah, and time management. Make sure you prioritize properly, and if you have good time management, you have more time for yourself. Then you can Netflix and watch Netflix also.
Yeah, true. Because I feel that a lot of our students now feel that they don't really have much time because after the classes, right? I don't know. Sometimes most of the students will have like classes from 8 o'clock all the way to 3 to 4 p.m. depending on the schedule, of course, right? Sometimes there are 1 hour break in between. Sometimes there are 2 hours break in between. Some of them are actually struggling right now because they feel that after classes, sometimes they have to actually spend the time to do homework. And then sometimes the homework can be a bit difficult, like, shim for the maths, I'm sure your homework will be like tons
Crazy,
and tons of it, right? To the point that I always advise my further maths students that when you do further maths, make sure you don't neglect the other subjects, right? Because it can easily happen. Because they're so focused on doing all the maths work, right? They want to try to finish up the maths in one semester, correct?
The whole syllabus in one semester.
Yeah, whole syllabus of AS maths in one semester, So that's crazy. So the amount of time they spend for the homework is like
AS at A2. AS at A2 maths.
AS
in
and
one
A2 maths.
semester.
Yeah, one semester. Because right, for the next semester, right, you have to start with further maths already.
That.
Oh my gosh.
I think ultimately, right,
the difficulty of maths and further maths. If maths is one ratio hard, further maths is how many ratio hard?
I think 10.
Serious?
10 to 5 there.
Whoa.
No way, 10 to 5.
Yeah, but I think it's 10, it's 10. Of course, right, like
5
maths,
is
right,
really a lot.
maths,
Is a lot, yeah.
maths is easy, but further maths is just another beast, man.
Done.
Unless you do a lot of practice, right, that's easy. But if you don't do practice, then it's really hard.
So yeah, I mean,
Same to everything, yeah.
ultimately motivation and discipline has to coexist. I think because without motivation, it's just really hard to get the discipline. But with the discipline, but you don't have motivation, you feel like you're doing this for what? You don't see your goal, you don't see what's the point in working so hard for. So the best thing is to have both of these together. So
Oh, if someone's
at the
struggling
same
with
sorry.
someone like struggling with finding motivation, but they just can't find it. So how? And they're like,
Yeah, just at the same time, just work on like
Maybe just
work
screw up
on
your first
finding yourself.
examination. That's where my motivation comes from.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, like I even did so bad in my class test, where everyone be like, if they got bad marks, right? Hey, ask Jacqueline, ask Jacqueline.
Wow.
Wow.
Like,
That's
okay,
about the
I'm
benchmark.
the
What
worst
benchmark?
because I don't
That's
study.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah,
Jacqueline.
but like, just don't be shy or anything. So I just, Mr. Lucas even embarrassed me in front of everyone in the lecture hall. You know what he did? I was half asleep. I was like
I can't
this.
imagine this.
Expose
I
him.
was half
She's such
asleep.
a bad girl. She's like the badass in the class. Like I
Not
don't
badass,
know
just
this year.
just carefree. Then
Yeah.
Mr. Lucas, he was lecturing, so into lecturing, and then I was, Taylor's lecture room, right? Wow, very cold, very comfortable. I was like this. Then this Mr. Lucas was like, Jacqueline, what is this, blah, 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 blah. Then my friend be
Yeah.
like, hey. I'm like, oh my God, so embarrassing. So he embarrassed me in front of everyone in the lecture hall.
Are you the only one that slept in Lucas' class, Mr. Lucas?
Oh no. That's my class, right? It's Thomas.
Right, correct. So I always call students out, you see, whenever I feel something is not right, whether they're not doing the work
But
or
he
they're
can
not-
realize, he's very smart. He can
No,
realize.
you see, at the end of the day, what happened is that I feel that you guys have so much potential to be wasted, you see.
Yeah,
Correct,
but
right?
I'm lucky this happened because like this happened before my finals, so it wakes me up.
Yeah, because
Literally.
I always feel that you guys are wasting your potential if you are basically blanking out or even worse, sleeping in the lecture halls and not paying attention.
That time I'm like so angry. What is wrong with this, Mr. Lucas? I want to sleep. Why bother me? But then at last I realized like, yeah, he's a good lecturer lah. Like not every lecturer care about you, So
right.
in college, right, you need to be very disciplined. That's what I say.
Take care of yourself.
No one's going to care about you. Your friends, right? Go home. Hey, bye. Then go home, do their stuff. They study. Then you didn't study. Then you take back. You got bad grades. So very important to self-discipline.
I am glad that Jacqueline took it the right way, you see, because a lot of students basically at this young age they could actually retaliate. They can actually
The
retaliate.
mindset is set on like, why is this guy doing? Why? Right? They don't think that, like further ahead usually.
So I think don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. I was the worst student in the class, I would say.
And it worked out very well. It worked out very well for Jacqueline.
I was very thick-faced.
I'm very happy that she takes all this positively rather than
just take things positively. Don't be disappointed in your results. If you do enough practice in A levels, you will definitely get a B or better. So
yeah, it's really you can.
I will
promise.
promise.
Really, you can do it. You guys can do it.
The big part of it is mindset. Just set your mindset just set the right
Also
mindset.
be honest to yourself, how much you
Yeah,
work.
accept like, okay, if you're having if you're having a problem, just accept it and then ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Yeah.
And it will be great on like your mental health as well. Like
this is true though.
Like, yeah, because when you start asking for help and when you receive help and then you consequently get better, and then you just feel better about the whole learning process in general. And if you have problems and you ask your friends how to do it, like, if you are not really comfortable with your lecturer, ask your friends, talk to them about your problems. Just make sure you have a good support group in A-levels.
I only started studying Sem 2 when Sem 2 started. So I was in this maybe chapter 1, chapter 2 questions. Then I asked my friend, hey, how to do this one? You are still in chapter 1 King, you king. Wow. But then if you take this like, if you take it seriously, then you are not going to move on, right? You'll keep like thinking that, oh, like, oh shit, I'm still in chapter 1, people is still in chapter 5, but don't care about this. Just continue working on your own work, and then you will definitely succeed.
Talking about studies, right? Like, I think some students might ask, like, how do you study for a subject, or how do you study like for A levels, right? I think one good thing to start with, right, is you do so first of all, you know what question to ask, right? Because I think all of us very lost. Some of them they don't do self-study before lecture. So normally, right, like you do self-study before lecture, so you understand the slides. Then afterwards, right, we do topical questions. Topical questions are key to understanding every single topic. As from experience, right, after every lecture, you do the topical questions. Because right, from the topical questions itself, right, it contains every single past years for that year. So once you start doing this topical question, then you start understanding how it works. You start understanding all the do's and don'ts and what type of question they will come up with. So with this information in mind, right, is when you can ask your lecturer on these certain concepts that you don't understand for this topic. Then you just repeat that for every single topic, right? Then eventually you will get what you want and you understand the topic very well. Once you understand the topic very well, right, then you can move on. So whenever the question about this come out, right, you can easily remember because you understand how it works, right? Because you don't memorize it, you understand it. The key thing is to understand, not memorize, right? Then not only that, right, like for example, Jacqueline case, she's in chapter 1. Then if other students like what chapter 5, chapter 6, she might feel embarrassed. But actually, right, to me, I like my friends asking me these questions early on, like chapter 1, chapter 2, because right, it helps to refresh my memories on that topic also. Yeah, so I'm actually quite happy, right, to have Jacqueline as a friend, you know, if she asks me all these questions, because it helps me to refresh this memory so that in actual exam it came out right. I remember this very well because I remember I taught this topic to Jacqueline. Because then there's another way of studying, right, is that you teach your friends. When teaching your friends, right, it shows that how you understand the topic also. Because in order to teach someone, you have to understand the topic well. If you're able to teach it, means you're okay with the topic already.
You're a good teacher.
I thought of
Don't be stingy with your knowledge.
Yes,
Don't be
yes.
Then you
stingy
get
with
like
your knowledge.
bragging rights, you know.
I would say you can ask your friends first before approaching to a lecturer, because lecturer has like 60 over students. They are not going to entertain you every second, right? So you have to wait.
Sometimes 120. Sometimes 120.
Oh, sorry.
Is it
Yeah.
2019? Is it 2019 intake?
Like, for example, math. I have a lot of questions, but then I just can't send my teacher 10 questions, right? Imagine if every student sent 10 questions, if you are the lecturer, what will you think? So you won't immediately reply. So better you ask your friends first. If that question is very hard, then of course other students will also face the difficulties. Then the lecturer will then explain.
Address it, during a lecture or tutorial session. That's a good strategy, right? Otherwise, all your lecturers will be having the phones filled with WhatsApp messages.
Yeah.
Another big difference is during SPM, I don't know about O levels, but SPM, we tend to memorize a lot. Like we pretty much memorize a lot to sit for the exam, but things are very different in A levels. Memorizing is a totally passive process. You're just inputting information and you vomit it everything out, and you don't even sometimes you don't even know what you're writing, right? So
you don't vomit the right things.
Yeah. So in A levels, you have to realize, you have to know that A levels is a super active process. You have to adapt a super active way of studying in order to do well in A levels, because when you're sitting in an exam sitting, the questions that you face every single year might be very different from the previous year. So if you're just so used to one kind of answering, which is the thing that you memorize, you might not know how to answer, but it's actually the same thing, just worded differently, or it's just the other part that you didn't memorize. So you have to understand the thing as a whole, and you have to really digest it and absorb it in your whole human system. Then in the exam sitting, nothing can really like tackle you down. You'll find that things are actually like that, things are this and that. It's very it's not that hard if you think about it, especially when a whole chunk of information might seem very overwhelming at first. And especially now in the early stages, just break it down into small topics, because once you understand the first topic, the second topic will make so much more sense instead of just looking at it as a whole. Yeah.
Very great
Very true.
point brought up by Rachel. Yeah, so for breaking down points, right? I think some students might find it very overwhelming when they see this information. So once you break it down, this is where you get the foundation, like chemistry, for example. You get the carbon, so these are like the chemicals, you know. So by understanding each chemicals, right, or in this case, each information, then from there, right, you can slowly piece together like, oh, why does this information relate to this? So once you create like a relation or like a thought process, right, I think this is similar to economics also, like the butterfly effect. How this case relates to this, and this relates to this. So when you understand the fundamentals, right, the basics of what happened, then everything, when combine each together like a piece of puzzle, right, everything makes sense, right?
Yeah, a lot of mistakes
Like,
is that.
yeah.
Rachel, is it? Or is it Angie?
No.
Like especially in chemistry, I think a lot of things like you start from the basic first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You
yes.
understand how the chemical reaction works, right?
Right.
Then from there you ask, oh, this makes sense. Oh, the dipole induction, what it's called, forces. Yeah. There's, oh, why does this react with this? Then once you get the concept of why, right? Always ask yourself why. Why does this happen? Why? This why, right? It's the key thing to helping you in A levels, you know, because it helps you to understand every single thing.
For example, we learn examples in A levels, like nucleophilic substitution. In the exam, we might not see the same examples that we learned.
Yes. Because
So-
if you change the nucleophile and
Yeah.
you change the nucleophile, you see some different nucleophile.
Yeah.
You think that, oh, I've not learned this before. My teacher didn't teach me. My teacher's at fault. So
Yeah.
that's usually
Yeah.
what the conclusion is. But if you
Yeah.
look closely, you know, they will basically know that it's basically the same old nucleophilic addition reaction that they had with the cyanide ion. So I mean, it's really
Yeah.
easy.
I just want to bring out like what Rachel said, like when you're in the exam sitting, you have to adapt. And you like, even now, especially now, like because we're in a pandemic and then everything is online, I think adaptation is very important now, because you just have to accept that this is going to be a new normal. So you can't really complain about not having a conducive place to study, because this is going to be it. Like this is
We don't really have
like
a
no
choice.
matter you don't really have a choice. So if you wanna be successful, you just have to accept that, okay, we're not going back for face-to-face classes anytime soon, and even if you do, there's probably going to be another lockdown, so that means you're back to your own desk again. So you just have to find ways to try to make yourself focus, put a timer, delete Instagram, whatever works. Like you just have to do it, because if not, you won't be able to survive.
Yeah, it will be too late.
Yeah, it'll be too late. And you can already see it, like in this world, like how people are, how people have been adapting and like using online platforms to do whatever they want to do. It's very, very important to adapt and evolve.
Definitely physical lessons will be better and more productive. But until then, we really have to make the best out of our situation. We can't just hope, we can't just wait until that comes. We have to really adapt first and don't waste our time now, because exams are still coming.
Getting your priorities right, isn't it? That's the point I think you're trying to get across. Getting the priorities right.
Yes.
And like, make sure you adapt, find a way to make things work for yourself.
I think I have an advice also. I don't know if you guys agree on it. For those new students, right, I would say score as much as you can in AS.
Oh, yes. Correct.
Right?
That sounds familiar, right, Jacqueline?
Because, right, if you don't, you are going to struggle in A2.
Yeah,
Because A2 is more difficult. and also very short,
Shorter
only 6
time.
months. It's difficult and it's very you learn it in a very short period, so you can understand the stress, right?
It's like 5 times more difficult than AS.
Yeah, so
Oh.
better score well in AS. So during your AS time, don't play around.
And also you have much more opportunities to get your marks in AS. You have
Yes.
three papers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is that there will be there'll be a point in time whereby our students manage to go back to campus, right? So yeah, how's life gonna be like? Because I'm not a student. I didn't do A levels back then. I didn't have like nice campus to go back to, when I actually did my pre-U studies. So how's it like, coming into campus, meeting new friends? Do I need to dress differently, dress apart? Do I need to dress to kill? Do I need to come in with my tuxedo or gowns to come into campuses? What do you say about this, man? Yeah. And these are
Friends are definitely very important.
Yeah, I was
make the right
so
friends.
nervous on my first day, but yeah, I was very lucky to hit it off with Rachel right off the bat.
Yep.
So yeah, I think what's very important is just go and make friends. Don't be shy. I mean, everyone will be shy, but they will also want to make friends with you. And so yeah, just put yourself out
Definitely
there.
find someone with the same vibe.
Yeah.
Then
Don't-
it'll be
Don't
very
force yourself
fun.
to be friends with someone that you don't want, that don't vibe with you as well. Because
very important.
yeah.
End up stressing, not being able to fit in, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. And about dressing, if you want to dress nice, you can. It's really up to you. But no one really judges you if you wear t-shirt and shorts to school. Like everyone will be too busy with their own problems. Yeah, but no one will ridicule you for it. Just if you want to dress nice, dress nice. If you don't, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's very
but
chill.
maybe not too ugly because everyone will have a good impression on you. If not,
Oh, well, maybe,
Like
maybe
the
the
first
first day,
few
maybe
weeks,
first day,
first
maybe the
few
first day.
yeah,
like
first few days.
normal clothing, okay lor.
Just be
Yeah.
careful, Jen. I heard shorts. If you're in the lab, avoid shorts because
Right.
Mr. Lucas will not let you in.
Yes. I got punished for it.
yeah.
I
Even
have a
shoes
friend
also.
who wear baju kurung in. She wore
Wow.
shorts to lab, and then she was like, "Oh my god, I forgot." And then I have a Malay friend. Then I said, borrow baju kurung from her. And he said, okay lah.
You're very smart. Yeah,
Story
baju
on
kurung.
this. I literally borrowed my friend who live in US because first week of lab, so I don't know, there's all these rules. I was wearing some short pants or skirt, I can't remember. Then I have to go all the way to US to find my new friend from orientation. Then she borrowed me her leggings. Then I just quickly change and go into my lab.
Yeah, another funny story I have. So basically, when you go to lab, just make sure you don't make sure you know where your foot is because in my lab, the basket was at foot level.
The basket that contains all the glassware.
The glassware.
All the glassware for
experiments.
It's every first year's experience. First semester, everybody will do that.
And I was
Everybody
done
will do
with,
that, yes,
I was
everybody.
done with my experiments, and then I
It was
sat
the
down
beginning.
and I was doing my report. So I put my leg down very nicely. Then suddenly I hear
No, the
Then I
funny
looked down.
thing is,
it was like
the funny thing is our lecturer literally
yeah,
just said, "Be careful, don't put your
yeah. It was
foot."
so ironic. Like she was like, okay, be careful of your foot. And then she just hear all the glassware breaking from the back of
Literally
the
the
class.
second after.
And I was like,
after.
my face was just like, oh shoot.
Don't tell.
And I think I broke 2 conical flasks and 4 test tubes and 1 measuring cylinder or something like that. So yeah, it was
Remember the first thing you asked?
the entire
That's a
basket.
record. That's a record.
I remember the first thing that you asked the lab assistant is whether you need to pay, right?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
No, you don't need to pay.
cover in your playlist.
It's so cute.
Yeah, luckily the lab assistant was really, really nice. She was like, no dear, it's okay. And I was like, oh, I think you can just see the weight lifted off my shoulders.
But it's included in the lab fees though.
Yeah. We take into
Yeah.
consideration the
Yeah.
wear and tear.
Because my
Right.
classmate was like,
It's just that it's,
break as much as you can, you already
Wait.
paid.
that doesn't mean that.
Yeah,
what
just
we want,
joking.
we would just want you though to be careful in the lab. You know,
Mm.
even when you break stuff, you get small pieces of glasses everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you may actually step on it. That's why it's very important to have proper clothing, right? Especially in chemistry lab, right? If you're wearing not shorts or short skirts, what happens is that if anything spills on the floor, it may splash into your leg. We don't want permanent damages on your skin, you see. So the clothing that we are advising you to wear is basically to just make sure you're safe in the lab, just in case any accident happens. That's why you always have to have lab coats on. You must have your goggles on. You must have closed shoes. Girls with long hair, you must always tie it up just that you don't get caught by fire, just in case, right? So you don't, yeah. I mean, and this hair is considered long, you need to actually tie it up, if you're actually going to lab, right? So yeah, that's the thing. So those are things that are actually done, put in order just to make sure all students are safe whenever they are in the lab. So yeah, that's some experiences over there, right? Yeah, a very good, interesting sharing from this group over here, right? Thank you very much for your time. Anyone want to add anything over here, right? Before we actually close the session?
Just have fun in A level. Study and have fun.
Yeah.
Make the right friends.
Yeah.
You didn't
There's
make
always time for fun. Yes.
exam gone.
It's possible.
I
Yeah.
would say
Find the
work
right
hard,
field
play
for
hard.
university.
Yep.
You need to work hard and also play hard to release your stress.
It might seem very overwhelming now, might seem very hard, like what is this, but trust me, trust all of us, it'll get better.
All of you have actually gone through it.
Yep.
All of
Yeah,
you.
We've gone through it.
Yet, like for some of us, we still have an exam coming up, but
If you feel it's too overwhelming,
Kind
right,
of
then
done with the
I think
process.
for me,
I'm done.
I would say in A levels, if you prepare yourself well, you are disciplined, you don't feel the stress, maybe just a little. If you don't, you definitely feel the stress.
Yeah. I
If
think
you are
if you
prepared,
feel, never mind.
okay, like because the past year papers are there, right? You can do it, and then the every year question is kind of similar, I would say. So you won't feel very stressed about it. You are just maybe nervous, but if you don't, you really feel stressed. So yeah,
The
prepare
great thing
yourself
about
to
A
the-
levels is that we have a luxury, is that we have a lot of resources. We have
that's
all
true.
these past years, every single thing that from years 2002 to up to 2020. So just do as much as you can, do the latest, start from the latest, and then just do as much as you can.
If you feel it's too overwhelming, right, I think you can just start doing one past year a day. It doesn't take much time, right? If you.
Yeah.
You need to have a
Be
plan. You need a plan.
consistent.
Yeah,
Mm.
be consistent.
Must
Very,
be
very important.
consistent. Don't think that you can do everything in 1 month.
Yeah.
Must be consistent.
Don't lie to yourself.
Especially if you have 4 subjects.
Yeah,
I took
definitely.
3 subjects.
Oh,
Plan
same.
ahead. Plan ahead. Yeah, don't procrastinate, right? That's another important thing. So yeah, I mean, we come to the conclusion that being in A levels is definitely it's a process whereby you need to adjust to, you need to actually adapt well to it, right? So what happened is that you need to have a good motivation in order to do well, but motivation without discipline is also going to be dangerous. So make sure that you have your motivation set right at the beginning, right? Some of you doesn't know what to do at the beginning. It's fine. So attend talks over there to make sure you expose yourself to as many options as possible, so that you know what you want to do at the end of the day. So at the end, you can work towards achieving the goal. And like what I said, and a lot of you have actually been stressing out that discipline is also very important, right? Having motivation and discipline will carry you very far in this particular course. You need to know what you want to do. You need to work towards it. You need to have the discipline to actually work towards it. Don't procrastinate, I think, right? Don't work last minute, right? That's the thing that I think is happening all around. I think in a lot of learners nowadays are actually taking things for granted. They feel that they can do things last minute. I think SPM O levels still can do it, right? So you can still make it, right?
Still
If you
simple
actually,
questions.
Can.
all very direct questions over there. When you come to A
Mm.
levels, a lot of questions are a bit more higher order, right? So you need to
Yeah.
be ready.
And there's just so much information.
This is
Yeah.
true.
So
Because
I mean,
was
if you
like, I can study before a day before it, and then during that day, when I look at the paper, GG.
Yeah, you think you know, You think you know enough, but you
yeah.
actually
know.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a big chunk of information, break it down to smaller portions, like what Rachel and Shim was actually trying to say there, right? Something looks a lot overwhelming, might not be as overwhelming as it is if you can actually break it down into smaller sections when you actually study it, right? Correct, right? So be
Yep.
thick face, and you actually mentioned that very important, right? Seek help whenever. If I can pinch that, yeah. Don't know what it's doing. But yeah. Yeah, be thick face, just ask questions, right, to your friends around you and then to your lecturers, right, so that you can seek help immediately whenever you're actually having any issues at all. Don't keep it among yourself, because if you keep it within yourself, you will actually build up stress, you will build up anxiety among you, and that is actually not healthy, right? So seek help as quickly as possible whenever you have any issues. Your friends are always there, right? Of course, it'd be good if you have face-to-face sessions over there, right? You can actually always ask friends left and right, but if you're online, just go ahead and ask whoever you're comfortable with. And I think you should actually let your lecturer know and whenever you're having any particular issue. All right, so time management, right? Make sure you get your priorities right. There's so much that you need to do in a day, but you need to make sure you know what is important, right? What is important.
Find boyfriend, girlfriend, study first.
True.
That could be another session that we can actually discuss, NG, right? A bit controversial over there, but maybe we can actually talk about that session.
No girlfriend, boyfriend.
New idea.
Some of you will agree, some of you will disagree.
Topic.
Yeah,
If
that's
she's
an
smart,
interesting
then
topic.
can lah. They should not smart than DG lah.
Well,
Oh my god.
I have seen it work and I've seen it not worked. So the two different categories again. So yeah, I mean, we save it for another session, right? Maybe Angie can come back to talk about this. Right. And yeah, I think overall, yeah, you just have to be able to handle yourself well. You need to align yourself well in this particular course. I mean, self-realization is very important. Know where you are, right? And then find out your strength and weaknesses, right? If you have weaknesses, try to overcome it ASAP, right?
Then-
okay. Yeah.
I think one thing to add, right, this is for those like without motivation, right? Like just remember, in the end of the day, right, don't regret. Like you didn't
Yeah.
study, don't regret.
Yeah, very important.
Just, like, just go all
if
in.
you think you're going to regret, then work hard now.
You don't know what you want to do yet, but get the good results, because good results can get you anywhere.
Yeah,
Like-
it's like a safety net.
Yeah, it's a passport. It's your passport to do whatever you want.
So in Chinese New Year reunion dinner, you won't be embarrassed by the aunties.
I can
yes,
say
yes,
I
yes.
get
Yeah.
4 A's. I have 4 A stars.
Oh, auntie, I got.
I
Yeah.
got full A's, then say I got full A's, but then one D or then I'll flex already lah. I cry.
Yeah.
And work backwards. So right now I have to do this to go there, achieve that. Yeah.
Good luck to Rachel, Kaiwin, and Rachel, right? Taking A-levels.
Yeah.
Rachel, Kai Wing, and Angie. Yeah, good luck
Angie.
for your exams coming in May, June, right?
Thank
Shim
you.
and Jacqueline, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you everybody for your time today. It has been a very fruitful discussion and sharing session by all 5 of you. I'm sure those who are listening are going to appreciate your sharing, your thoughts and your contribution in this particular podcast. All right. So if you like what you hear and see today, give us a thumbs up, right? Comment and subscribe to us. Right? Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Ah.
Okay.